Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Lahman. I'm super excited to have you check out this video. I launched our Healing Voices podcast and YouTube channel this spring, and mainly from a place of my heart where I just felt like there was a need. There was a need for continued awareness that we're not the only ones on the healing journey. And so my idea was, hey, if I could bring voices onto this podcast, if I could bring voices onto this YouTube channel, and we could really dive in and get to know the personal work that people are walking through or have walked through. We can get to know the healing gifts that people in our midst offer the world. Maybe we would feel a little less alone. Ultimately, I felt in my years, this last 15 years of exploring this body, mind, spirit, wellness world, and just doing a lot of self-healing and taking a look at my life up till then and up till now, and being like, okay, what needs to shift in my world? What can I do better? What is holding me back? What is blocking me from stepping into my greatness? As I've been doing this healing work, sometimes I felt super alone because I was like, where are the people doing the work? Where are the people reading the books? Where are the people having the deep dive conversations and taking a look at traumas back then, and looking at great experiences from back then, and belief systems? How are our belief systems so impacted by our upbringings and the systems we've come from? The injustices in our world, how are those impacting the way we're viewing the world? How can we do better as a collective? How can we do better as individuals? How can we learn to accept ourselves more? How can I learn to not think that I am what I produce, but that I'm actually a child of the universe, a child of God, a child of love, and that I don't need to strive and produce to be worthy. Like, I can wake up and see and feel worthy. And I've felt lonely on this journey sometimes, and it was like this podcast was like, I feel so grateful to have met so many incredible beings up till now. What if we could provide a space where they get to share their stories and their voices? I could talk for 6 hours with each of these individuals. But most of the interviews are about an hour and 20 minutes. But they really give you a beautiful glimpse at who these beautiful beings are, and what they care about, and how they're healing themselves, and also how they're seeking to offer health and wellness and support to others, and also seeking to be conscious of our influence on the earth. And so my prayer is that the podcast, the YouTube channel, will be help us create more community, help us realize we're not alone, help us realize that we can keep courageously healing even when we feel like giving up, that we are worth it, that we are worth saying yes to that more challenging conversation, or that book that we know could really change our lives, or that new habit that really could shift the way in which we show up, or that new risk that we're afraid of taking right now that really is going to be what helps catapult us to that next level of existence and creation. So I'm trusting you're still with me, and I want you to take a peek now. We're going to just take a look at the first 10 episodes. And so it's just going to give you a little bite size, about a minute, some a minute and a half, some a little bit longer. And it's just going to be a little bite-sized glimpse at what this podcast is all about, and what these spiritual beings, these human beings that I interviewed, are all about. And perhaps you'll watch it and you'll be like, I want to hear that person talk more. I need to connect with that person. I might need to dive into some coaching with that person, or I want to become friends with that person, or what, maybe you're going to feel inspired and you're going to say, I want to be on that podcast in a year. I want to do an interview. I want to talk about the healing I'm going through. And, you know, or maybe you're going to create a connection with one of these speakers, and you're going to end up co-creating something magical and healing for this earth, for yourself, for other people. Anyway, all that to say, welcome to our Healing Voices podcast and YouTube channel. I'm Aaron Lahman. I'm excited to be on the journey with you. I am not your guru. You are your guru. I believe in you. I believe in your healing. You've got this. And now we're going to dive in to little clips from the first 10 episodes to give you a taste.
You know, I think so often we feel, for example, in this situation, we feel the resentment, but we don't take it any further. We just stay in that vibration of resentment until something happens, like something good happens that takes us out of it for a moment. And then we just forget about it. But our body doesn't forget, like our body is still holding on to it. And so I was so grateful for my friend for showing me, like, this is an area that you still have some work to do around. So it was just a powerful experience, an example of like how we can do the work ourselves. To heal ourselves. But we have to be aware in those moments and conscious of what's really going on. Is this really about this other person, or is it about these childhood traumas that are still holding us back?
January 1st is always okay. January 1st is
Right.
cool because everybody goes to the gym. Right? Well, guess what? January 31st, 70% of the people will never show up again. It's because they didn't have really the right mindset. They said, okay, let's do a little bit. January 1st is a good day to do it, but they were not ready yet. And so I think there's a lot of emotional work that needs to go, that you tell yourself, I'm really worth it to go through that journey. And when you do, and that's for all listeners here that are feeling not really safe or, you know, good enough themselves to go into that journey, I will just tell you, within 4, 5, 6 months, you're going to become a hero for the people around you. Because they're going to look at you and say, you know what? We never thought that that person could do that. And that person just did it. And so that is really a huge, huge thing that people need to be aware of, right? It's like it's not just for you. Once you go through that, it's like you're gonna open a dam for people like you.
Yeah.
You're gonna become a role model. You, the one that doubted yourself and thought you were not worth it, now you suddenly are a role model for others, right? And you can start a whole movement that way.
Wow. My mom loved helping people. She knew God had a different purpose. You know, when I came to America, I was very, very bitter. Like I was, you know, I had so much hate. You know, more than like, you know, like when I'll talk to people that I know now and someone tell the story, they're like, no way, we've known you. You've always been a very happy person. I mean, my goal when I first came to America was to come here, be as wealthy as I can be, and create my own army and go back to Africa and kill as many people as I can. That was, I mean, as an 8-year-old at the time, like as a 7-year-old, that was that was my goal. Like, because what we heard about America is you could be whatever you want and you can make as much money as you want. You could literally become what you want to become. So in my head, I was like, I know exactly what I want to become. This is what I want to do. I want to go and I'm going to pay back every single person that ever had anything to do with my family going through all that stuff. But my mom was like the opposite. You know, my mom is crazy, you know, because now I've learned forgiveness in such a different way. Like, but I can't always say that I've always been like that. I was a bitter kid. I didn't really talk to anyone besides my family. For people that also know me now, like they know how much I love people and I love meeting new people. Back then, like I didn't really want friends. Only people I talked to was my family. Those are the only people I cared about because those are the only people I can trust. Because I was in my head as a kid, I was like, how can I trust these random people in a different country with different skin color, different mindset when my own people didn't want me? Like why in my head would I trust these people? Why would they want to help me?
The thing that the first part that I say is it's never going to be as hard as you think it's going to be, but it will take longer than you want it to take. So you see that there's a paradox there, right? Like it's never going to be as hard. Like when you're in the midst of learning something for the first time, you're like, this is literally insane. I could never do this. I mean, a personal example, right? I study with my teacher for the Indian drums, the tabla. For people that want to look it up, it's spelled Tabla. It's like table with an A at the end. And my teacher is an amazing musician, Indian man, Suryaksha Deshpande, and he lives in New Jersey now, but was born and raised in India. And I'll go and anyways, there's so much I want to tell you about that experience because it's fascinating. But I'll go and he'll teach me a new composition, right, for the drums. And when he teaches it to me, I literally cannot do it. I'll be in front of him, and I've been studying now for almost 10 years. And it's almost embarrassing. I mean, it's not almost embarrassing. It is embarrassing. But I've come to actually know that that's the process. So I literally will not be able to do it. I mean, someone could say, here is $1 million. If you just do this composition, you'll get $1 million. I wouldn't be able to do it. Like there's a gun to my head, anything. It's just, it won't happen, right?
Yeah.
And so what I have noticed is this amazing quality of the human body and the human mind with just, and I'm already seasoned, so I play music. I have a musicality in my body, but how quickly within 2-3 days, if I just dedicate 1 hour or not even. Now, again, time it's not a formula, right? But if I show up and I look directly at the composition, and I mean that in a metaphysical way, like I spend time just looking at, I'm not looking away, not picking up my phone, I'm not distracting. I'm just looking at it and I keep looking at it, right? If you want to memorize a poem, it's like you look at it and then you try to say the first line. And no, I don't have it. Look at it again. Okay. Oh man, it's so hard. Just look at it again, right? So it's like, just keep looking at it. Trust that it can happen. And it's really like, where is that belief? Is the belief that it actually can happen? Or is the belief deeply that it actually can't happen? So which will win? Which will prevail? So just in a matter of a day or two, what was literally physically impossible for me is now possible.
For me, I was just at a point where I was just so tired. I mean, I remember sitting there in the doctor's office. I finally went to a functional medicine doctor's / chiropractor, and he was the first person to see me that asked the question, "What are you eating?" And I just was like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what does my eating have to do with how I'm feeling right now? I mean, when I think back on it, I'm like, wow, zero. I mean, what education did I have on food?
None of us did, right?
I mean, not enough to even think. I mean, and I consider myself an intelligent person, and I just never made that connection of food making me or affecting the way that I felt.
I don't like listening to my mind and all of my worries. I just like to feel good. So we have this brilliant GPS guidance inside of us that's always saying, go this way, go this way, go this way, because it feels good. And we've literally been trained out of our alignment by society. And this happened the moment we were born. You're born naked, free, boom, into the world. Hello, here I am. And before you know it, the parents go put some clothes on. Go kiss your auntie. And the child said, but I don't want to kiss my auntie. No, kiss your auntie, because I will feel guilty if you don't kiss auntie. In other words, we then start to go, okay, I don't feel like doing this, but there's someone who provides food and shelter for me, aka my parents, and in order to please them, I got to do something I don't like. And otherwise, I might suffer. They might stop feeding me. So we oftentimes, out of survival mode, sacrifice our alignment with source in order to please the parents. Sad reality, but true. This is societal conditioning. Some parents, and perhaps yours sound pretty dreamy, are better than others, but I'm sure we're all parents. And maybe for a while you got to be angry with your parents, but eventually I would suggest to not blame anyone or anything for your conditioning. This today is where you're at. You're not a victim, you are empowered. The moment you start recognizing that there is a path back to your alignment. And yeah, it is a path, it is a training that you will go through. And many times your mind and its conditioning will distract you, saying, I'm not worthy of loving and this and that. So it's a constant dedication, moment to moment, to alignment.
If I'm working with someone that has the mindset, I cannot help them or they can't get better, it's going to be very hard for them to get better. You know, it's going to be very, very hard for them to get better because that mindset is a problem. I have worked with people that I have a gentleman, I call him my Superman. Like, he's amazing. From where he was, multiple surgeries, dialysis, you know, kidney failure. That man is kicking. Like, I mean, his psyche is something out of this world. The way that he viewed a thing, the way that he viewed progress, what he wants to do. And we progress from one stage to the next. He wanted to ski better, and he get back to skiing, and that's something that he loves doing. So they're doing it. So the key is that the mindset plays a huge role in it. You know? And sometimes my thing is like, yes, there's diagnosis of certain things, but yet don't let someone just shut off your fire just because they used to see X happening with this particular thing, and then take this end result and drops it on you. Like, this is exactly what's going to happen to you.
Right.
And you feel like, I have no choice.
Yeah.
No, you can still kick. You can still push. Yeah. You have your own fire.
You know, stop, pause, and ask yourself, why do I feel like I want to eat 3 bowls of cereal right now? Like, what am I distracting myself from? Am I really hungry? Am I bored? It's asking ourselves this question. Am I hungry? Am I bored? And am I trying to distract myself from something? Is something emotional going on that I don't want to deal with? And it's taking a breath and acknowledging what's going on. Because the majority of the time, there's something emotional in the back that people that I was dealing with that I didn't want to address. And so therefore I wanted to cover it up with food. Right. And so, and then self-sabotage myself by binging the next few days and then not eating. It was like a punishment to myself. So it's like, why, you go back to self-worth, why would you want to do that to yourself? Why do you want to punish yourself? Because that's what you're doing, right? When you're intentionally eating things when you're already full and you keep eating, why do you want to punish yourself? And now, and part of it went back to that I just suppressed so many emotions, like a lot of Americans. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't feel like it was okay to have sadness. I didn't feel like it was okay to talk about things that, you know, I was going through that were hurting. I just felt like, oh, this isn't normal. I should just be joyful all the time. And so I kept suppressing all of my thoughts and all of my feelings and basically just eating them instead or not eating them instead. And so really pausing and asking myself those root questions and letting it come up.
Every belief system that you have should make you feel so excited, so eager, and so effortless. A lot of our times when we feel really down or depressed, it's because our belief system is pulling us down, you know, it's like draining us, it's dejecting. And so you can do so much meditation, and you can eat super healthy, and you can do all the workouts. But if your core belief system abides by anything of like, I'm always gonna have to struggle, I'm unworthy, I'm undeserving, any of that on that line, on that wavelength, maybe yours is different, but it's still on that wavelength, those other tools won't be as powerful.
But 2 is like empathy. I really feel as if that experience that I walked through at a young age, and then how I've processed it over the last, 35 years, 34 years, energetically, emotionally, with my healing, with therapists, with massage practice, with Reiki, energy work, with all these different modalities that, talk therapy, just talking with friends. I think my empathy, I have a lot of empathy because of that. Like, just, I feel really like again, I still got an ego. I still get amped up and annoyed and angry and irritated. But I also have developed a gift of empathy that is like, wow, I actually don't know what it's like to be that person. Why am I getting so mad at that person right now? How can I show up better and listen better and have some empathy in this moment? Because I have not walked in their shoes. And I think because that had happened to me, and how I knew how intensely it had impacted the way I showed up as a man and the way I've shown up as, in relationship with women and with my wife, like it's impacted me tremendously because it's impacted me so much. Just this one experience at 4 or 5, I just have like empathy, and I just don't want to, I want to just, the second that judgments start running like through the roof, I'm like, wait, hold up, buddy. Hold up. Why are you getting so riled up right now? What is that person's story? Why are you so irritated and so egoically charged right now that you are adamant that you are right and they are wrong? Why are you getting, do you know their story and why they think the way they think or why they're behaving the way they're behaving? How can you show up with some empathy? There you have it. Thank you so much for taking a look at our Healing Voices podcast and YouTube channel. If you're excited, if you want to join the community, we welcome you. We're excited to get to know you. We're excited to learn from you. We're excited to heal with you and just continue to say yes. I think that's what, daily, this journey, this creative journey that we're all on together is about. How can we say yes to our wellness? How can we say yes to encouraging those around us, even if they're not, don't have the exact same belief system? How can we still encourage them to become who they really are called to be, who they really want to be, to find their greatest joy, right? How can we support people around us? And also, how can we continue to grow our awareness of our connection to all of this, to this earth that we're all sharing and inhabiting together, that we can continue to do better and we can continue to elevate our game day in and day out in self-love, in loving others, and also in loving the earth. So thanks again for hopping on. Hope you have a beautiful day, and let's be in touch soon.